Now, when you look to grow a startup, what characteristics in the company help you decide if it's going to be successful or not?
Well, so I'm kind of, and there are different kinds of great ideas to start with companies, and I tend to be on the end of things where I'm looking for something that's very important and that most people think is impossible. That might sound crazy, but the things that people think are impossible are the things that have the most value ultimately and the most defensible in the market. And so it's almost the sort of Elon Musk end of the scale, where you say, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing something big, and that introduces certain kinds of challenges. But I don't easily get out of bed to do these things. You know, it has to be something that's really worthwhile, and that's my focus. Now, connected to the fact that it's very hard to do is the belief that you can actually solve it. And so you have to have yourself or people around you that have got the skills and the abilities to be able to say, well, this problem may seem like it's impossible, but in fact we can see how to get a machine to fly, let's say. And people might not believe that machines can fly, but we can find a way. And if you can do that, you're going to make a lot of money. And that's my view of it. It's by far not the only way to build a company. There are many much lower risk ways and kind of less kind of stressful ways to build companies. But that's what I love to do.
Now, you're the expert in everything startup. What startups are on your radar right now?
I think that obviously we've all been very interested in seeing the social networking startups have been kind of phenomenal, and they continue to be phenomenal. The opportunity around that is enormous. We see people that are really much more kind of mobile oriented. But the thing that I'm focused most on is around cloud computing. And when we talk about our database technology from NuoDB, a lot of it is about clouds and about the whole next generation, really revolution of people moving enterprise computing to cloud-style environments. And there are many startups that are operating in that area. It's very technical, very complex, but a lot of people are going to make a lot of money in that area.
When it comes to the cloud, do you think that end users really understand the cloud right now?
Not at all. But on the other hand, that's part of what the cloud's about. Is that the whole idea is that you don't really need to understand too much about it. It's just kind of there and does what you expect it to do. Unfortunately, it also does things you don't expect it to do. And we've seen examples of people, you know, of security breaches, people's photographs being published, and all sorts of things like that. That's not a lack of understanding on the part of the user. That's the vendors not having the technology and the processes in place to really look after customers. But I suppose it does kind of go back to people at this stage needing to be a bit careful that the cloud isn't really mature yet, and there are some risks.
It's interesting, I haven't heard many people say that when leaks happen, as we have seen in the media recently, that it is the responsibility of the vendor. What kind of changes should be put in place to protect people's data that's stored in the cloud?
Well, you wouldn't be surprised to hear me say they need a better database, but that's somewhat self-serving. It really comes down to a matter of security. Unfortunately, security is one of these things where you need to have all of the security holes filled. It's no good having good security in one place and sort of leave the back door open. So it's all about security, and the cloud vendors are learning. They're learning quickly. I could go into kind of technical details of what they specifically need around that. But the good news is that they're learning, and data is becoming increasingly secure on the cloud.
All right, Barry, now just before we let you go, I want you to round up all of the points that you think people need out there to begin a startup.
So when I think about the end-to-end question of building a startup, I very much think in terms of phases, and we've talked about having the great idea. That is absolutely critical, and that's somewhat obvious. People perhaps don't spend enough time making sure that it is a great idea. But beyond that, I think that the critical things are about the entrepreneur themselves being a person with stamina and ability and energy and a willingness to keep committed over a long period of time. And then the issue of being able to recruit people around you, whether those are investors or employees or customers. But if they're people skills, it's about bringing people along with the vision that you have.